Hello, hello, everyone. It's 12 p.m. in Washington, D.C., and in Florida, USA. It is 6 p.m. in Lagos, Abuja, everywhere in Nigeria. In West Africa, it's 6 p.m. In East Africa, it should be 8 p.m. In GMT, London time, it should be 5 p.m. So holla, wherever you are, say hello and let us know what time it is where you are. But yes, we're getting ready for our session today, and we have a special guest speaker. That is Miss Allyson. Let's get her online now and make sure we're good to go. And please, as you join us, kindly indicate by sharing your first name and also the location from where you are tuning in from. We want to be able to know where everyone is joining us from. I hope you can hear me and see me clearly. Hi, T. Luna. Hi, Dr. Watson.
Hello.
Can you see me and the poster?
Yes, I can. And I'm doing this. I wanted to do it from my computer, but I'm doing it from my phone, and that is perfectly fine with me. It's working.
Okay, awesome. Great. So, I know we have like 1 hour, and I'm sure you have a lot to share with us, and we like to start on time and also respect everyone's time. I just want to start off by giving a brief intro. I see we've had, I think 2 people have joined. I trust more people will join. So right now it's 6 p.m. in West Africa, and a lot of our mentees are based in West Africa. We also have some mentees. I love how you're playing with. Okay, we have some mentees in the U.S., so it's for some of them it should be 12 p.m. or 10 a.m. I think the latest we have should be about 8 p.m. joining us. But as they get a chance, they'll tune in, and I'm gonna ask that everyone just writes their first name and along with the location from where they're tuning in. So yes, we can give like 3 minutes before we get into you presenting so that people won't miss too much. So it's 12:02 right now. Yes, but I don't know. Are there questions you want to ask me while we wait for more people to join?
No, I'm so excited, and I hope that we have a chance to take questions from everyone that's visiting too.
Yes. So I see we already have 2 ladies from Nigeria. We have Oluchi and Ifunanya. We also have T. Luna, who is based in the U.S. I forget what state she's in, but yes. So aside from our mentees, we should also have other people who follow our page that might join in. But I know the people who are on right now are our mentees and 1 mentor. But yes, so I'm sure they will have questions for you. Some of them are married. I'm not sure if any of them have kids. Yeah, I think a couple of them have kids, but a lot of them are still single in school and are young professionals and just are very interested in knowing how do you balance life. They're still struggling to balance life as a single person. Not talk about when you get married and you have kids. But yes. Oh, we also have a guy that joined. Hi, Michael. And please, everyone, as you join, just type in your name and the country where you're tuning in from. Okay, I see Jane has also joined. Great. We have like 1 minute till we get started. Allyson, awesome. Thank you so much for being available. I admire you so much, and I'm so excited that we're finally having this conversation. Get to know a bit more about you.
I am so excited too, and I can talk to you all day, Onyenye. So to share this time with your friends is awesome as well. And it's just so funny that today, just talking about work-life balance is probably one of the hardest days because it's the day after the Super Bowl in the United States.
Right.
When all of the children are tired because they stayed up late and everybody was moving slowly. But we got here. I'm at work and and they're at school, so it's fine.
Yeah. I also went to a Super Bowl party last night, and I got home like around. I left before the end of it, but I got home and crashed. My hair was a mess. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning. I'm like, I gotta do something to it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I understand.
Okay, and I hope you don't mind. I borrowed the picture. I don't know if I should say borrowed, but
I
got
love
this
it.
picture of your family, and so yeah. So
that's one of my favorites.
It's great.
Yes.
I feel like it definitely captures what we're going to talk about. So it's 12:05. Go ahead, Allyson. I can ask you the questions I sent to you, or you can just flow however it comes. But I think you can definitely start off with just telling us about you and why this is a topic that is important to you to share.
Sure. So, hi, everyone. Please have your friends join. I would love to have them on too. When Onyenye offered me the opportunity to do this webinar, for lack of a better term, I was very excited because I have 3 children, as you can see in the photograph, and I have been in education. This is my 23rd year as an educator. And when I started off, I was very young. I was 20 years old when I got my first teaching job, and I wasn't married. And I had the sky is the limit dreams and goals for myself. And I was what they call a type A personality. And so everything that I had written down, I was like, I have to accomplish this by this year, this by this year. And then came my family. I met my husband. We got married. Little by little, we had kids along the way every 2 years. And so my goals still stayed the same, but to have a proper balance, I had to change some things to make sure that I was balanced. So when you asked me to share about work-life balance, I was very happy to do so because I have had some really good mentors in my life that helped me learn how to balance home life, work life, and personal life, and make it what looks probably from the outside like a success. Sometimes in our home, it doesn't always feel that way. So the first question that you posed to me, Onyenye, was how would you describe yourself as a woman? Personally, professionally, spiritually. And I would say that as a woman, the first thing that comes to me is that I'm an encourager. I love encouraging others. And I have done that my entire life. From the time that I remember 2 years old, I would encourage some of the kids in my preschool. And that has just stayed with me as who I am. And then I would also say I am extremely driven. Driven in the fact that I set a goal and I do the necessary steps to take it. And sometimes people think of driven as you'll stop at nothing to get to the goal. When you're driven and you have your purpose, sometimes the goal does not happen as quickly as you thought, but you write the goal down and you do everything that you can to get to it. And I say, when I use the word encourager, at the same time that I'm driven, I also encourage others around me to set their goals and drive towards their goals. And then the last word that describes me, I would say, is very energetic. I love movement. I mean, I try to get 10,000 steps a day, but I'm just very energetic. And people have said that about me. I'm youthful, and I just heard a speaker say yesterday that he surrounded himself with people that were older than him. And I thought about my friends, and most of my friends are older than me, and I learned from them. But I always wonder how come I have so much energy. It's because I'm just very youthful, and I'm energetic, and I really like engaging with people. And so that pretty much describes me. I'm very, very spiritually grounded with my family. I make sure that they know that it's in terms of my life, God is the center of my life. And so every decision that I make, usually I seek the Lord's will first. And that's just being honest.
Yes. Well, awesome. Thank you so much. I love your energy. And I think It's interesting that you surround yourself with a lot of older people and you still have energy. Do you think you're the most energetic of your friends?
Actually, no. I go walking every Sunday morning with a group of women in their late 40s and early 50s. And I just so happen to be probably the youngest one in the walking group, but they all are very energetic.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you for giving us that little preview into your life and your personality. And I want to add here that I know Dr. Watson. I call her Allyson. Allyson's her first name because we are both Gates scholars, Gates Millennium Scholars. And it's basically this really prestigious scholarship program that existed for 10 years in the U.S. and gave promising minority students a chance to attend a college of their choice. And I mean, it's one of the biggest blessings I've had in my life. And I'm sure Allyson also feels that way. And I'm really thankful for the Gates program for bringing us together. And also Allyson served as the president of the alumni group. So that's how we know each other. And I just follow her on Facebook. I mean, she's amazing. So tell us about you being the dean of the at Florida A&M. So what is that like? And is that something you've always aspired to be, and how you got there?
Oh, that's a good question. So I am the dean at Florida A&M University, and it is actually a historically Black college or university. It was founded in 1887. It is in the capital of the state of Florida in Tallahassee, Florida. I have been the dean here since July. But prior to that, I was the dean at the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg, also in Florida. And then I was the assistant dean and endowed chair at Northeastern State University in Oklahoma. Wow. And this is a funny thing. When I was 19 years old, I was given a assignment to write my college senior paper. And in that paper, we were asked to think of a problem that was happening across the country and how we could help solve that problem. And back then, I wrote on the problem with education in the United States and how we needed to make major changes and increase the critical teacher shortage. Now, I graduated from college in 1998, and it's so funny that this is 2020, and that long ago, I wrote a problem statement about K-12 education, and we still face some of that same situation today. So that's not good. But I also wrote very clearly that I would aspire to two jobs, either to be the United States Secretary of Education or to be a college president. And so when I wrote those two jobs down in the paper, I said, those are two intricate positions that will help navigate where we are as a country and solve the problem that we have in K-12 education. And so I have just, when you asked, did I always plan to be a dean? I looked at what it would take to get to the final goal at the time, and that would take a Ph.D., a doctoral degree, a terminal degree. It would take experience in education. It would take publications and research. And it would take being at a small institution, being at a larger institution. And so I knew what it would take. I wrote those things down. And then I started putting different things in place to get to that goal. Now, I did not do it alone. There were a lot of people that believed in me and helped me along the way. But once I set that goal, then I got my first job in higher education, and I did everything I could to excel in it. And so now, 16 years later, I've had my second deanship.
Wow. Amazing. So the question that came to mind, sorry, I guess I'm going to be adding to the questions on the list.
That's okay.
But I feel like from what I know about you, you started your career along with your family. I think like it's not, I think some people have a chance to do their career, follow their dreams, and then they get settled with a family. But it seems like you got married at a pretty early, well, not too early, but yeah. So tell us about that, like getting married and then starting a family and then doing it alongside your career.
Yes, that is very true. A lot of my friends met their spouses, either male or female. Some of my male friends met their spouses in their doctoral program. Some of my female friends met their spouses right after they finished their doctoral program. Interestingly enough, I met my husband when I was an undergraduate student, and we were just friends. And I think I told him like very early how driven I was, because remember, driven is one of the words that describe me.
Yep.
And so I said, here's this goal I have. And what I didn't share, and I thought about last night, is one of the goals that I wrote down was that I also wanted to be Miss America. Well, I didn't achieve that goal.
Okay.
But it's so funny, when my husband met me, he, without knowing, he called me his Miss America. So I might not have achieved it nationally, but I achieved it in my own home. So that's a good goal. But we met, and by the time I got to my master's program, we started a dating relationship. And at that point, I told him, I don't want to be married until I finish my doctorate, because that's how important the goal was for me. I said, in terms of my life, I would like to get this done, because I know that eventually it's going to lead to what the drive is in me. And so he said, okay, that's no problem. He will wait for me. And so right after I defended my dissertation proposal, my husband, at the time we were just dating, he proposed. And so we literally, the month after I walked across the stage and received my doctorate, we had planned our wedding. And so I got married. I graduated. The ceremony was in June of 2002, and my wedding was in July of 2002. And so it was a very stressful time, because you can imagine finishing up your research and your doctorate and then also planning a wedding. It was very stressful, but we got it. And now 2002, and now this is almost our 18th year of marriage. And yes, so we did, right after we got married, I went back to teaching. So I taught 8th grade in middle school, and I loved it. It was like awesome. I taught 8th grade English language arts and reading, and it was so impactful to teach those 8th graders. I still remember them to this day. And then I had the opportunity to start in higher education. One of the universities had an opening teaching research statistics and research methodology, and I was so passionate about that I applied, and I got my first tenure track higher education position. And that was my second year of marriage. And so I've been in higher ed for 16 years and been married for almost 18 years. And we did start the career. I started the career. We had no children. I wish I could show you this article. I don't have it out, but the university that I work for had the reporter come out and do a story, and it said, and the reporter asked, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? And I said, well, on my 10-year goal, I will be a university president in 10 years. Well, at the time, remember, I had only been married for about a year and a half. We had no children. So I thought that I would just do it really quickly and become a president. But after we had our first child, then I said, there are about 300 colleges and universities across this country plus. So I can take a little bit of time to learn my job really well before I go after those big goals. And so that's exactly what I did. And little by little, I just get closer to that goal, but I don't rush it anymore, because I take time to savor the experiences and learn from them.
Awesome. I really like that. Okay, so now I want you to go ahead and respond to the questions I sent you, and yes, just go however you want it to flow, and then hopefully we'll have any time for people to ask questions. Yes.
Okay, so the second question is, tell us about your work career and what do you do on a weekday? So my career is pretty busy. I don't always like it to be so busy, but I have meetings all the time. And my children came to work with me one day and they said, Mommy, we now know why you're so tired when you come home. You have meetings all day long. You're up all day long. And so when I come home, I am a little bit tired, but then I kick back into second gear and start the cooking and everything. But usually my day can consist of meetings about student concerns, meetings about budgeting, looking for ways to make the college better, speaking engagements outside of the university. So it's a full, not just 40 hours. I usually work about 50 hours or more a week. So this past weekend, I worked all Friday.
Wow.
This past Friday, and then went home and packed, and then went to Orlando, Florida for 2 conferences back to back. And those conferences were about promoting education. So that was a lot to do. I didn't take off Friday to travel. I actually worked and then went home and packed. And then my family, I said, I want you all to come with me because that's the time we get to spend together. And so we went to Orlando and I went to the conference and had them there. But it's a busy life, but it's fulfilling because if you keep the goal in mind, then you always revert back to the goal. I want to help children. I want to help education. So the work that I'm doing impacts my own children, and it also impacts other people's children. Not only just in this region, but in the state and the nation. And then I was going to show you one of my schedules. So every day, my assistant gives me my weekly schedule. And you can see where some days are very, very full. Mm-hmm. And then some days are lighter than others. Mm-hmm. So it's just a day in the week could be where I'm running all day, or some days I have time to pause, but I always have to have room for if something else comes up to handle. And then the next question you asked is how...
sorry, can I interrupt there? You showed us your schedule, but what have you found, to be an effective way of making sure you have a balanced schedule, I guess, and because you just also mentioned keeping room for some things that might come in. So yeah, just share like a strategy for helping you maintain your pace. Yes.
Yes. So one of the things that good leaders have to have is still creativity. They have to be able to have creativity. And if you work too hard all the time, then it takes away from your creative juices, honestly. So you have to have some downtime to gather yourself and write some thoughts, make decisions. And so I usually give myself on Wednesdays to have not as packed of a schedule. So that's a strategy I would say is set aside, and this is one of my mentors told me, set aside a day of the week where you do nothing but think and plan and process how you're going to do your job better. And so for me, that's Wednesdays. And I would encourage everyone, when you're working a 9-to-5 job or an 8 to 6:30 job, you need to set some time in that work day, whether it's lunch, whether it's after the